Pleased to meet you. This is Fixed and Folded, the knife review channel for the casual knife collector. I am Cody. Tommy, where are you? There's Tommy. And I'm going to be reviewing the QSP Vault medium size folding knife. QSP Vault was $105 at Cutting Edge Cutlery in Calgary, Alberta. And for that money, you get a Sandvik 14C28 end blade, a steel bolster, and black micarta handle scales with partially skeletonized steel liners. You have a true deep carry pocket clip with one screw at the top here, and a very well implemented bar lock system that QSP calls the glide lock for this model. QSP has a couple other bar lock models that are traditional, like a Benchmade axis lock with two little bolts that you pull down, but this one has these nice grippy tabs that you slide down, and you get real drop shot action and a nice firm initial detent to overcome. You have, almost feels like a hollow grind. I do believe it's a high saber, a very high flat grind. If it is a hollow grind, it's very subtle, but regardless, you get excellent slicing out of the box. It has a nice fine cutting edge, and it's done even on both sides. You have a well implemented drop point blade with some belly on it here, and the world's smallest recurve. I'll compare the blade shape with a Benchmade bug out, since these are size competitors. This is a medium-sized knife, as I can fit all my fingers on it. I have extra large gloves. I wear extra large gloves, 3.5-inch finger width and 4 inches at the palm, and I can get full purchase on this. So this is the smallest knife that I'll carry in my pocket, and there's smaller knives than this, probably 3 sizes smaller, but anyway, so this is the entry level of size that I'll carry, and as you can see, dimension wise, for length, comparable to the Benchmade bug out. This has a tiny bit more hand real estate because this doesn't come to the stop that this one does. This one, your finger wants to stop about here, so this space is naturally going to sit your fingers in here, whereas this one has the front finger choil, but then on the back it's a gradual angle, and so you can get a little bit more hand grip there. Also, with this model, you have a finger choil, finger cutout for choke up grip, whereas on the bug out you don't have that. You just have a sharpening choil, and so your only option for more control for push cutting and controlling the point would be thumb forward grip, or you can do the draw cutting grip also, whereas this one you have the addition front grip. This blade shape offers different strengths and benefits and drawbacks over something like a bug out blade, where this one you have a bit less piercing tip. The edge is less acute than on this one, but you do have a little more belly to maybe aid a little bit with slicing for doing draw cuts. So this one might be an A in piercing and a B in draw cutting, where this one will be a B in piercing and an A in draw cutting, just in terms of the shape of the blade. And this has a flat port here where this has a really subtle recurve, very, very mild recurve. Blade stock thickness is medium for a medium-sized knife. See here, it's comparable in thickness and dimensions to the bug out. It's a little bit thicker than the bug out's blade. Handle width is noticeably thicker than the bug out, which is good because you get a nice firm purchase on this. It feels like you can do, even if you had to do some heavy duty work, break down like a heavy box, like a refrigerator box or something. If you only had this knife around and you needed to break it down, you could use this. I feel like you could get enough purchase on this to do some heavy duty work in a pinch, where with this you just really can't. This excels in light, and maybe if you had to do some medium duty work in a pinch with a bug out, you could do that. Where this one you could go up to some heavy duty just because of the sturdiness and the extra width of the handle. Just gives you more of a sense of strength for doing some push cutting and some piercing, whatever you need to do. The weight on this is heavy for a knife of this size. The milling is pretty minimal. You just have some little circle cutouts in the middle there. But because this is a relatively small knife, it's a good feel. It's heavy for this size of knife, but it's not heavy objectively. When you compare to something larger, then this is going to be lighter than those, generally speaking. Fit and finish on this has been perfect. The blade came perfectly centered out of the box. The cutting edge was even on both sides and sharp, very sharp. Really just melts through receipt paper and pierces well. In terms of jimping, you just have a jimping on this spot, which is gonna be for thumb forward, and for if you want to do draw cutting, you can use the jimping. Otherwise, there's no jimping on the handle. None on the back and none on the front. The only other jimping is on these glide lock. Is this called the glide lock? I think it's called the glide lock. These glide lock tabs that you just push down and you have beautiful action. Really smooth drop shutty action. Really fidgety knife. The tolerances are terrific. It feels really solid in hand. Fit and finish is beautiful. You got this black washed Sandvik blade, the cool little QSP logo, a little bit shiny, and then you've got a black bolster, black micarta. What type of micarta is this? I think this is. This is like a standard micarta. There's many different. There's paper micarta, linen micarta, canvas micarta. I don't think this is any of those. This is like standard micarta. It feels there's a mild texture on it. I think that if you get this wet, it's going to grip more. Just really comfortable. It doesn't provide a substantial amount of grip. It's almost like a metal finish, but it's really comfortable. There's no edges on the handle. Everything's been rounded. There's no sharp edges anywhere on the knife except for the cutting edge. So really comfortable. The first model of this that I saw had a plain blade with a shiny steel bolster and a green micarta handle, and just the color combination didn't do it for me. It was a little bit too busy. But this all black, well, most of my knives are all black, so this is my style. Okay, so one thing that is just my own subjective wish is that QSP comes out with a full-size version of this. Just scale it all up, call it the Vault L or something, and I'd love this, because that just tends to be the size of knife that I carry with my big hands, is something like a more of a full-size knife, like this Benchmade readout with the custom scales on it. So if QSP scales up their knife and makes it this big, then I would just rush out and get one right away. But that's because I have big hands, and even then I can fit all my fingers on this. So the pocket clip works well as a pocket clip. There's no hot spots. It's a subtle bill. This part, even though it looks like it's aggressively sticks out, it's where my hand fits here. This part doesn't even touch my hand, so completely comfortable. And you can use it as a finger reference if you're going to thumb flick it, or slow roll it. I guess even if you were going to use the glide lock here, you can use it as a finger reference. But there's a little bit of lateral movement. Even if this screws down really tight, I don't think it's the tolerances of the bracket of the handle. I think it's more just the material, like the steel that's used. It's just got a bit of lateral movement to it when I push up against it using my fingers for a reference, and it's a little bit annoying. It's a minor issue. So it's my only niggle with this knife as it is for the end user, especially if someone has smaller hands. This will be the perfect size of knife for them, is that this pocket clip has a little bit of lateral movement if you're going to be using as a jump off point for your fingers for opening and closing the knife. I did remove this pocket clip for myself, and I found that I didn't actually need to use this at all for reference for when I put my fingers on the handle, because I can rest my palm on here using the glide lock. That is my reference point for using leverage to open this, and also when I do a thumb flick, just the handle, the width of it is perfectly secure for me to open it without having a pocket clip. So after this review, I'm gonna take this pocket clip off and just throw it in my pocket with no clip, and that's going to be the perfect version of this for me. Because this does this lateral movement. Let's see if you can. Might not be able to hear it. Where's the speaker on my phone? You can maybe see if you can hear this. That's the sound of it rubbing up against the handle. I notice it bugs me a little bit. That's the only flaw on this knife. I would give this like a 9.5 out of 10 if you're planning to keep this on and carry it in your pocket using the pocket clip. If you're taking it off, then I'd give this a 10 out of 10, because then you're not going to have anything possibly annoying you about the feel in hand. It's a great value, $105 Canadian, Sandvik steel bolster, micarta, great fit and finish, and a really comfortable and fidgety glide lock version of QSP's bar lock. So absolutely recommend this knife, especially if you got medium or large size hands. This is just a really usable, pleasant EDC knife for a good price. If you got bigger than XL gloves, don't bother with this knife. It's gonna be too small for you, unless QSP comes out with a Vault large. Then this is for everybody else with smaller hands. So I'll do a quick thorough size comparison here, so you can get a really good sense of where this knife fits. So you got your bug out and comparable sized Vault, and then you have some full-size knives. This is my readout, and you got a SOG Flash AT? Something like that, Flash AT, and then you get extra large knives, Spartan Harsey, SOG CLXR. So you can see this is going to be your real EDC carry for most people size. Let's go over the cutting edge length. I'm gonna think it's 3 inches even, but let's make sure. So length of the cutting edge is just under 3 inches. It's 2.8 inches. Cutting length, full blade length is 3 1/4 inches. So this will be legal in a lot of areas where 3 inch and longer blades are illegal. So the cutting edge is under 3 inches. So that is a plus. So yeah, really like this knife, especially with this color combo. And if QSP comes out with additional color options and material options, that'll also keep the desirability up. Please make a bigger one, QSP, but happy with this current version, and hope you all have a great night. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.